Well, hello, how's everyone doing? How are you doing? Today is the 27th of July and it's a Monday morning here in rainy, grey UK. But with the promise of sunshine to come this week, which we're all hanging on to. I've got my sunflowers out. They're sort of remnants from my birthday last week. Beautiful, aren't they? And some white roses that were given to me as well. Thank you all also for all the amazing messages that you sent through. Honestly, every year it gets more humbling. It really does. I think there was something ridiculous, like 1,700 comments and likes certainly on Facebook. And I was like, oh my gosh, it's just... yeah, it's overwhelming. So thank you. This week I am going up to Yorkshire to see my family and I'm really looking forward to it. I haven't seen my dad for over a year and so it's very long overdue and the sun is forecast actually. So I'm packing my summer clothes anyway. So I hope it doesn't turn cold. It can turn cold up there. I've known it before. I've gone up before, admittedly in autumn, near to winter, and had to go out and actually buy woolly hats and scarves and gloves because I was so freezing. But it won't be that cold. But it's always a couple of degrees cooler. But maybe that feels as though that's symbolic as well. It's almost as though we could all do with it being a couple of degrees cooler in terms of what's going on in the world and in our own lives. Okay. But yeah, we're coming into August where things are only going to heat up. So I do feel as though this last week of July, before we get into August and indeed the Lionsgate, and I will do a video for Lionsgate, it's only going to get hotter. Things are going to be ramping up and getting hotter and hotter. So if you can, try to use this week to take the temperature down a couple of notches. And by that doesn't mean standing still. It's actually to do with preparation, focus, and breathing. Okay, just breathe. Time out if you can. I've prepared a little selection of crystals and colours here, and I've got the decks that I'm going to use in this reading. And my God, it took quite a while to even work out what decks to use today last night. I just couldn't decide. And the two decks that I've got are quite different. I have used one of them before. I don't think I've used the other one. And I've no idea what the messages are going to be. So we're just going to dive straight into it. I will just tell you what the decks are. The decks are Art Through the Eyes of the Soul Oracle by Cheryl Yambrach Rose. I've used this one before. And I'm also using a deck called the 13 Moon Oracle Cards by Ariel Spilsbury, which I love, with the exception of one or two cards in it which trigger the hell out of me. And it's my stuff. It's nothing to do with the deck. The deck is awesome. And I'm not even going to tell you what the card is, because if I do, it's going to reveal a lot about myself. And you already know quite a lot. I'm not going to reveal everything, but it's a great deck in all seriousness. I'm using these two decks. But the other thing I want to say is that the crystals that I've got in front of me, it's just, if I could eat selenite, I would be eating selenite. Now, obviously, we're not going to eat selenite. It's not good for us to eat rock. But I'm just in love with selenite, and to a ridiculous extent at the moment. Now, selenite is a crystal that helps us to link into the angelic realms. It opens up all of our higher chakras. It cleanses the light body. So in many ways, it made sense to me in terms of why I was craving selenite. But then I do this work. I've been doing this work for decades now. So it's like, well, why now? Why suddenly is selenite just pulling me? And it really is. So I've looked up the properties of it. I'll just show you 4 of the pieces of selenite that I've got on my desk. I've got my selenite wand. I've actually got 5. I've got selenite heart. I mean, look at the way that just captures the light. Isn't that fantastic? I've got my selenite globe. Now this has actually been out. This was out in the last whatever the last new moon or full moon was. It's also been out when comet, whatever it was called, Neowise, was in the sky on July the 23rd, nearest to Earth on my birthday. So it soaked up all of that. I mean, can you feel that? I can. I'll tune into what that wants to say to us in a moment. And one of you a few years ago, I've shown this to you before, but I will show it to you again, gifted me this beautiful, well, combination of talking stick and wand. But again, wow, the vibration of that is just off the charts. So what is this? Why is selenite calling us so much this month? Let's read up about it. This is from Judy Hall's Oracle deck. And she says, in the ancient world, selenite protected against wanderings of the mind. It invokes mental clarity and divine inspiration. So it says, you are a translucent soul who moves fluidly through time. Use insights wisely. Avoid confusing the past with the present. See into people's hearts to see what motivates them. Do not be manipulated or too eager to please. Stand by what you know. You have the gift of clarity and mental flexibility with the power to make excellent decisions. And it's all to do with shining a divine light on earth. I think we're in an age, unfortunately, it's not just a week, it's not just a month, it's not just a year, where there is such a plethora of confusing information and misinformation out there on pretty much any subject under the sun, that the mental clarity is really needed at this time. We talk a lot about purifying the heart, don't we? Purifying our heart, expanding our heart consciousness. But yet the poor old mind often gets neglected, and the mind can get polluted, is what Metatron is saying. The mind can get polluted, the mind can get manipulated, the mind can get stuck into a particular groove, a particular rut. But you know, there's a lot of, I don't use this word lightly, but I'm going to use it. There's a lot of sorcery around at the moment. Now that doesn't necessarily mean, you know, the wicked witch stirring a cauldron in some corner of the forest. Sorcery is often much closer than we think it is. And it's to do with people that are trying to pull the wool over our eyes, hinder what is actually true, what is real, what is genuine, what is authentic. And we've just got to be really, really careful at the moment. We've got to tread really carefully out there. It's literally like a minefield. I'm seeing, you know, the image of Princess Diana in my mind now, when she was shortly before she died, actually, and one of the last things that one of the last initiatives that she took on was, I think it was in Angola, raising awareness about the landmines that were dotted all over the land there. But yet, you know, that's actually a physical thing linked into war, but yet there's like a mental warfare going on at the moment. And there are these booby traps I'm hearing, which, you know, when you step on them, they literally can shatter aspects of consciousness, and it takes you a while to come back into your body and ground. And some of the information that's out there at the moment is not the truth either. So your consciousness is being shattered sometimes by things that aren't even true anyway. So how do you know what is true and what is false? It's to do with having as clear a light body as you can, but equally it's as though the mind just seems to be this neglected thing that we don't talk about, we don't think about. And I think in spiritual circles, we're all guilty of that. It's all about the heart. It's all about the heart, the age of the heart. But yet we're entering into the age of Aquarius, and Aquarius is a very, you know, it's a very astute sign. They're often very much up in their head, you know, quite analytical. So we've got to balance this out. Okay, we've got to balance this out. I mean, I've got, my moon is in Aquarius, so to me, this resonates strongly. What do I mean by the moon in Aquarius? Well, moon can be to do with illusion and what is veiled and what is secret and what is hidden. But yet Aquarius is this sign of, like, let's dig really deep to try and uncover that which is hidden, but yet let us do it in a genuine, authentic, non-agendered way. Okay, right. Let's pull a card from this deck and just see where Spirit wants to take us. I'm saying Spirit because, you know, Metatron is always around me, but I do feel the presence of another guide as well, and it will probably become clear who they are. And you might say to me, well, can't you just tell us now? You know, you're supposed to know all this stuff. Well, no, I'm talking about what is hidden and what is veiled, okay? And having to dig deep. So sometimes, you know, this also applies to our guides. And as long as you always only call in that which is loving and of the highest light accessible, then, you know, you'll be safe. There's nothing malicious around me or dark. It's linked into a higher light. I will draw a card on it in a moment, but let's see what... Okay, this is an interesting one, talking about guides. I love it. I love the way Spirit do this. Okay, so who is this guide that is a bit veiled that is around me? Well, it's my own higher self, okay? I love it. Become the master you seek. This is Metatron as the grand joker today as well, okay? I always say that Metatron is the bridge back to ourselves, okay? Metatron never, ever, as a guide, wants to be the one who is sort of like, tell me the answer, tell me the answer. And literally, you know, sometimes people will do this. It's like, can you ask Metatron this? Can you ask Metatron that? What does Metatron think about this? And, you know, if Metatron had eyebrows, which, you know, he probably doesn't because he's an angel, but he'd be doing like a, you know, really? Because it's like, why are they not at least first asking themselves, their own higher self? Okay. So here we've got become the master you seek. I want to actually just read the message for that card, or at least a little bit of it. Let me, because I've never seen the card before. And let's see what the creator of this deck wrote about this card. It's a great deck, but it is so, there's no indexing in this at all. Hold on. Become the master you seek. Okay, bear with me. I told you we've got to keep digging. Where the hell is the... Where's the... Okay, this is ridiculous. I can't find the... There we go. Breathe. Page 66. The Master in Tibet. Okay. I mean, you know, this is all perfect. I was meant to have that pause and slight irritation at not being able to find it. That's the whole point of what Metatron is trying to show us here. How frustrated we get that we can't sometimes listen to our own counsel, okay? The Master in Tibet. You are a divine being. Internalize this knowledge and allow it to inspire self-confidence and inner strength. What you search for may not be what you find. Realization that the power of the universe is within you is the fulfillment of the quest. This power is at your command to create and build with, and to find solutions to the most difficult challenges that you encounter. Looking outside of oneself and expecting someone or something to do all the work for you is going against cosmic law. We must all use the gifts that we have been given and be actively engaged in developing them in our own life process for other assistance to appear. Yeah. You know, it's not saying that spirit won't help you. It's saying that you also need to learn to help yourself. We all do. And it feels as though now in particular is a time when we are meant to be doing the work, okay? Particularly August. I mean, August just feels huge. Energetically, the only way I can describe it is it's literally like if there was a pair of curtains here, okay, and outside the window was August, I'm just wanting to do that and then like do that. You know, it's like I'll take a little peek, but I don't want to see the full extent of it yet. Indeed, the curtains aren't even going to be drawn back for the full extent of August when we get into August. It will literally be like we are shown some of it, and we will go through August and we will play the roles that have been assigned and do what is requested, etc. But there will be so much more that is going on in August than what is apparent on the surface. That sounds very cryptic, but it's really not. What it means is that however far you progress in August, whatever decisions you make in August, wherever you find yourself in August, whatever you need to let go of in August or accept in is, I'm being shown it's the tip of the iceberg. Okay, it's the tip of the iceberg. So say, for example, you have to let go of something. That might either be the most amazing relief or it could be very painful. And that's the tip that you can see. But beneath that, there is a whole lot more in terms of what that will then, for example, bring in, okay? In terms of growth, new beginnings, new people that come in to replace the one that's gone, or the job that's gone, or the loss that has happened. In the same way that if you accept an invitation, for example, in August, and this also could be an invitation to yourself, okay? I have an invitation to my own inner space, my own heart. I have an invitation to get to know myself better, okay, to really do the work. Tip of the iceberg, start to see results, but yet underneath it, the consequences of what you do in August and how you act and how you are and who you are have huge, long-lasting ramifications for years, is what I'm hearing. Okay, so this must be tied into Lionsgate, I'm sure, and I will guide us through that, but I'm not going to do that today. Okay, I'll do that when I come back, and all will become clear. I've got an idea of what we might be doing. I do know that there are a couple of words that are coming to mind. I know that we need to go through almost like it's like a cleansing fire. It's a white holy fire, which is why I'm really drawn to the white ray today. And it's also an ego death that needs to happen as well, which is going to be very interesting because August is the sign of Leo. It's to do with the lion. But yet it's the lion that's going to greet us at Lionsgate is going to have a different quality to normal. It's a white lion is the first thing to say. Was Aslan a white lion? I think he was. Narnia, Christ consciousness, it might be something to do, I think it probably is something to do with that. You can't take a massively inflated ego through this Lionsgate. So that's why this thing about become your own master is coming through. Okay, let's pull another card that goes with that. I do feel as well that the more that we get in touch with our own higher self and our own essence, our real soul essence, let go of the name, let go of the personality, let go of the age you are, the way you look, just momentarily. You can't obviously remove them entirely or you won't be a human body anymore. But just allow all of those different masks, which is effectively what they are, to go, and you arrive at this inner core of who you are. And what I'm being shown is, because we're all fragments of each other, there are a number of what I want to call prototypes. I mean, it's not really the right word, but it's the only word I can use to describe what I'm seeing, which is that, you see, when I first saw that, I saw Christ. Okay, I just saw Jesus's face. And I was like, oh, it's Jesus. But yet, actually, this is a card representing our higher self. So if I look at that and see Jesus, there's an aspect of my inner self which resonates with the Christ frequency, okay? Very, very strongly, very, very strongly, to the point that that is part of who I am as well. In the same way that you might resonate more with one of the other ascended masters or beings or fragment of God. There aren't as many prototypes, I'm hearing, as you think there are on this planet. So the Christ light is a big one. There are others, of course, as well. I've got the Keepers of the Light deck here, and I don't know if this is going to work, but I just feel like I want to pull another card. Doesn't mean that the person that will be coming up here, or the being, is necessarily one of these prototypes Metatron's talking about, but I don't know, there's a message wants to come through from this deck. So this is Keepers of the Light. Let's just have one card linked into what I'm talking about, please. Mary Magdalene, yeah, okay. We're still on that Christ line energy, because they go together as far as I'm concerned, Christ and Mary. Teacher awakens. You see, she's saying the same thing, that you are your own teacher. It's like you are your own master. You are also your own teacher. I always say to people when they come to any of my workshops, well, if I haven't physically said it, it's certainly energetically present, although I know I have said it from time to time, which is that my job, basically, as a teacher, is just to help you remember who you are. That's all it is. It's just a process of remembering, re-remembering. We just all forget. When we incarnate, we forget. And then it's a process of re-remembering who we actually are, as well as who we have been and who we will be. So yeah, what the message coming through here, which is quite deep today, is to do with become the master you seek and become the teacher that you are as well. Okay, so let's carry on. Let's pull another card from this deck, feeling the vibe of this. Perfect male and female as well, you know. It's just like perfect balance of masculine and feminine. So that's coming up as well as an ego death that needs to take place around Lion's Gate, and a holy cleansing fire energy. Also the balancing of the male and female within ourself. It's big. It's really big work that's going to be asked of us in August. Arise from the ashes of despair. Yeah, I thought this card would come out. It kept showing itself to me yesterday. The Glastonbury Phoenix. This person is sitting beside Chalice Well. They've laid down their sword. There is a phoenix rising from the well. And the holy chalice is there as well. I'm hearing we can't go on as we are. That's like a collective thing. We can't go on as we are. As a species, it's as though we're on our knees. We're seeing now all of the old structures just breaking down and falling away. And the person who trusts, and who trusts very deeply, and who has the faith, not in an external power to come in like this white knight on a horse to save us, okay? That's why I don't resonate with a lot of the political rhetoric that's out there right now from spiritual teachers as well, some spiritual teachers, not all, which is that this person is coming in to save us. No, they're not. We're the ones that save ourselves. It's always been that. It's always been that. and the ones that have the faith and the trust in themselves to be able to arise from the ashes of despair, which is what this says, are the ones that can clasp the cup. You know, boiling that down into a very practical example, I was thinking this morning about economic collapse. By that, I just mean, you know, the job market. I'm fortunate in that I am not affected myself. But, you know, I've got youngsters in my home. It's an uncertain world and, you know, what's going to happen to them, etc., all that type of thing. And I know other people within my social group who are struggling, whose jobs are very, you know, vulnerable at the moment. And I was just sort of casually thinking, you know, what's the answer to all of this? And it came to me that a lot of the teaching that's come through over the last year, really, on this channel, particularly actually from Heart Squad, particularly Prince, the likes of people like Prince, there's been a strong pull to talk about the need for us to break outside of the box in terms of our creativity, to become creative way showers, basically. And the fact that we have within ourselves the ability to be able to turn any situation around, but not via going to the broken institutions that have fallen away. So, for example, with regard to economy, I think the drive towards self-employment, starting something up, and you might think I haven't got the money for that, but I'm actually being shown an image here of this. This feels like it's India. I'm being shown an image of India, and I'm being shown an image of a young boy. He's in India. I think it's happening now, and he's just salvaging, you know, I'm wanting to say scraps, basically, but able to salvage and sell and survive. Now, that's an extreme example. Of course it is. But I'm wanting to say, if he can do it, so can you. And yeah, something to do with somebody else's scraps or somebody else's jewels is what I'm hearing, okay? But it's about that inner resourcefulness that we're going to need as a species, economically, mentally, physically. And how do we get to any of that if we're not becoming our own master? If we're giving away our own power the whole time, whether that be to somebody else, whether that be to, I don't know, a media outlet, somebody on YouTube, such as myself included, anybody, you know, for all the answers, but yet we're not able to also see that we are the master that we're seeking. Well, how can we tap into that inner fire and ability and mental acumen and creative aspect that is what is needed to build this new earth? It's what's also needed to build your new foundation. I truly believe that everybody has a God-given gift and a God-given talent. I totally and utterly believe that. So what goes with arise from the ashes of despair? Sacred journey pilgrimage. Yeah, we're all going to go on a bit of a pilgrimage. Now, some people, that might actually be a physical pilgrimage, you know. But most people it won't be. Most people it's a pilgrimage back into our own heart. It's a pilgrimage back into ourselves. We've all moved away from ourselves. We've all been guilty of giving our power away. So and so says this, he says this, they think I should do this, they think this is true. How about coming into a sacred pilgrimage into yourself? the very word sacred means that it's quite private. It's the opposite of an egotistical display of I know this and you don't. You know, let me tell you, let me fill you in. I've had a lot of that on my channel recently, and it always just makes me smile. I'm not even going to say what the subjects are that trigger people, although you might be able to guess. But there's a couple of subjects I've covered recently, and people are still going on about it, believe it or not. You know, I see them commenting on this particular post, and it happened again over the weekend, and somebody said, sorry to burst your bubble, but do you know, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, it made me smile because it's just, it sounds so egotistical. It's like, I know something and you don't. That's an outward display of, you know, trying to prove that you're something at the expense of somebody else. Sorry to burst your bubble, but sacred journey pilgrimage is the complete and utter opposite. Because if you're taking a sacred journey pilgrimage into yourself, A, nobody else can do that for you. B, nobody else can experience or have that truth that you will find because it's within you and it's your truth. And it's okay that that might not be somebody else's reality. Can anybody burst your bubble and tell you something about yourself? Your soul, your higher self, your essence, who you are, what you stand for, what you believe. Very private, very sacred, very holy actually. This is who I am at soul level. This is what I believe. This is my vibration. And it's beautiful, and yours is beautiful. But I don't need to shout it from the rooftops. You can see it because you can see it in somebody's energy field. That feels good, or that doesn't feel so good. But it doesn't need to be about, it's the complete opposite of where we are at the moment. And where we are at the moment is just like, it's out of control. It's, as I'm repeating some of the things I've been talking about in videos recently, but it's like what's that phrase John Lennon talks about in the song? Everybody's talking, but no one says a word. And he also says the thing about, it's like what's being said is almost like worthless. It's becoming worthless because everyone's just like yabba, 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 and no one's listening. And everyone's just trying to shout louder than everybody else. My truth is better than your truth. You know, your truth is wrong, my truth is right. No, if you go into a sacred journey into your own heart, you will feel what's true. And because you're finding it from the heart doesn't have the ego. The heart's not going to then say, right, and now I found that truth, I now need to go and tell everybody else and make them feel inferior because they don't know. So we're on our knees as a species because we've done this to ourselves, and we've all been guilty of it. And so the answer, there is only one answer, guys. The answer is to take an inner journey back to ourself. And it's funny, you know, you might think this is a rather strange outfit I've got on today, because it is a bit strange, I suppose. And you know me, I don't consciously do it. It's just I've always enjoyed clothes, and I always make an effort, okay? I always make an effort. Even if I'm just sitting here all day on my own, I will still get up in the morning, put my face on, put some clothes on that look nice, you know, blah, blah, blah. And this morning, I was just like, oh, I knew I wanted to do a video, but I was like, oh God, I don't want to dress up. I just want to be, it's just like, I want to be me. Not that that isn't me when I'm wearing a nice dress or whatever. And so I'm just sat here in my slouchy jogging pants. I've got my Mark Arman t-shirt on, who's one of my all-time heroes. You know, I've got Mark on my chest, you know, Mark's in my heart. I have got a new pair of trainers on. This is all relevant to the message, by the way. It's not just a total ego trip I'm going on. I'm trying to explain to you, it's like I'm showing you who I am, but equally, I mean, look, these are my new trainers. I mean, they're really cool. I never wear stuff like this normally. I never wear stuff like this. And I realise now, it's like, it's just because I'm becoming more at peace with who I am inside myself. And it's just like, no, today I'm just going to sit here like this and I'm going to wear that. And if it looks a bit whatever, it looks a bit whatever. I'm not asking anybody to like it, you know? That's ego. It doesn't matter if you like it or you don't like it. I've got my glasses on because my eyes are sore and I'm tired. Can't be bothered to put my contact lenses in today, quite frankly. You know, just take me as I am. It's that type of energy, take me as I am. And I'm realising now I've done that in a spiral to get to that place. Because believe you me, I put on various other things and I was like one of those mad women moments that we have occasionally where you put something on, it's like, no, that doesn't feel right. No, that doesn't feel right. And I don't want to wear that. And I was like, what the hell is going on here? Just put on a, you know, normal skirt and shirt and sit down and do your video like you always do. And it was like, no, don't want to do it today. I want to wear this. So it's all perfect, isn't it? I must show you something else, again, that's quite interesting. I bought this mala for myself within the last couple of months. It's from France, actually. It's, I think it's, well, what is it? What is it? Hematite, Black Onyx, Howlite, maybe a bit of onyx as well. Maybe I said onyx. But the thing about it is, okay, it's black and white, so I thought it would go with lots of stuff. But I bought it because it had on it the Ankh. Did I say this in a previous video? I can't remember. The Ankh fell off within a day. Those of you that have followed me for a while know that I bought a beautiful Ankh, I don't know, a couple of years ago. It was a lovely pink quartz crystal Ankh. It was big, it's about that big. And I did some work with it and then it broke, just literally broke in half. I was like, oh, okay. So I'm not meant to work with that anymore. So I can't remember what I did with it, but anyway, it's gone now. So this was the next thing that I've bought, which is Ankh related. And within, again, a day, oh, I'm realising what's happening now. Within a day, it had fallen off. And I was really disappointed. It's like, I really bought this for this. But it's the key, isn't it? It's almost like it's the key. I want to do that. You know, it's like a tin opener. It's like you have to take that off because you're meant to be using it. Okay, you're meant to be using it. So something here about the Ankh is the key to this inner world. It helps to take you on this journey. And of course, the Ankh, as we know, combines both masculine and feminine energies as well. So it's also the link back to the masculine and feminine sides of ourself. It's the birth canal. It's the entry to a new world. But the other thing is that what remains on my necklace is the scarab beetle. Okay, so I looked up the meaning of scarab beetle, and this is quite appropriate really for where we all are as well in terms of this inner journey we need to go on, because the where is it? The scarab beetle, obviously it links to an ancient Egyptian, just show you there, ancient Egyptian symbol. It was a symbol of immortality, resurrection, transformation and protection. The life of the scarab beetle revolved around the dung balls that the beetles consumed, laid their eggs in and fed their young, representing a cycle of rebirth. So it's as though this is a rebirth. It's rebirth linked into new identity, I'm hearing. And it's new identity based on not seeking outside validation for who you are and how you should look, how you should talk, how you should behave. In an age, guys, where you've only got to step out of line, we all know this, a little bit, and someone will say, oh, you know, it's like, oh. We have to step outside of the box that we've placed around ourselves and show who we really are. But more than anything, it's about showing ourselves who we are. It's not about other people, it's about us finding out who we really are. Is this making sense? It's making sense to me. Okay, let's just pull... Oh, I haven't pulled a card from the 13 Moon deck, have I, which I showed you earlier. Let's do that now. Okay, let's see. Let's see which card wants to come out. Or cards. Align. Absolutely. Align with your higher self. Align with your own truth. Align with your own soul. Align with your light. I think this is why I felt compelled to show the selenite. Okay, it's as though the selenite energy brings down this white column of light to reveal to yourself who you actually are. That's a powerful, powerful card. I love the fact you can see her back and the vertebrae in the back. Isn't that stunning? It's got an energy of real surrender. Let's see what goes with it. Yeah, be curious, look deeper. Before I say that, I just want to say that this reminds me of the woman, the female protester in Portland. Without wishing to get into all the politics of it all, but there was this image, very, very powerful image of this naked woman. She wasn't standing, well, I think she was standing at various points, but the pose that really I saw was she's just seated, naked, with her legs slightly out like that, but it didn't look, obviously it was, no, it just felt like an image of power, okay? And in front of her is just this line of, I don't know whether they're police or whatever they were, but you know, and it was like, here I am. This is me in my power. This is my raw power. This is my raw power. And it's like that no one knew what to do with it. It was like, oh my God, what do we do with this? What do we do with this? This is who I am. This is all of who I am. This is the essence of who I am. If you've seen that image, you know exactly what I mean. And it was like, everyone was like, oh my God, we don't know how to handle that. We don't know how to handle that. So I'm not saying we've all got to start stripping off, but you know, there's something there, isn't there, about being naked as well. Being comfortable with being naked, actually, in all seriousness. Because again, clothes are just another thing to sort of disguise what's inside. The skin is still a covering for ultimately what's inside, but yet it's closer to what's inside than, you know, whatever it is, jumpers, t-shirts, as well as all the energetic barriers that we put up around ourselves so you can't see who I really am. You know, I'm not going to let you see who I am. As a reader, it's really interesting when I come across that. I mean, I don't come across it very often because when I do a session for somebody, which is always linked into my training, by the way, I don't offer one-on-one readings generally. But the people that come to me, they want me to read them, okay? But occasionally, even you'll still get people who say they sign up for it and then you try and tune into their energy and there's just like this wall that's built up because it's like, although I've asked you, I don't really want you to look, or you can only look to the degree that I let you look, which is fine, totally respect that, and I'd never go underneath anybody's boundaries. But it's just interesting, we all do it to a degree, don't we? I'll show you this, but I'm not going to show you the full extent. But that image of the lady in Portland who's just like stark naked, sitting down, it's like raw, primal, female power. What are you going to do with this? What are you going to do with this? And they don't know what to do with it. She absolutely, to have been able to have done that, she will have gone on that inward journey, to have been able to access that raw power, to even do that in the first place. Be curious, look deeper. This thing about inner work, linking up to yourself, your higher self. Approach it with a degree of curiosity, that it might be fun to do, that it's going to be interesting to do. Because I think there's almost like a block that we put there, which is like, oh my God, this is going to be so hard. This is going to be so hard. And actually, to a degree, it can be difficult if you've always been somebody that's always looked for other people to validate you or to tell you the answers. I mean, I'm appalled sometimes at the stuff that I see, particularly online, where you have people casting judgments on somebody, maybe in the public eye, and then it just becomes the law that this person's either a goodie or a baddie, you know? And it's like, and then people just perpetuate this stuff. Because somebody else has said it. That's the point I'm trying to make, because somebody else has said it. Because so-and-so has said it, it's got to be the truth. What about your truth? That's why I always say when I do readings, I do anything, take what resonates, leave what doesn't. If it doesn't resonate, fine, move on. It's not a problem. You know, anybody that's trying to dictate, no, this is the way it is, and then defend it and defend it and defend it, that's an ego thing, isn't it? So approach getting to know your higher self with a degree of curiosity, okay? Curiosity. And, you know, I can hear all the questions from people watching this, which is like, well, how do we do it? How do we do it? Well, why are you so frightened of yourself? That's what we need to ask ourselves. Why are we so frightened of ourselves? Why do we think it's going to be so hard to actually just sit with ourselves and find out a bit about ourselves? But I need somebody else to tell me how to do it. No, you don't. You know yourself better than anybody else. It's just you haven't sat in stillness and silence enough to be able to hear and sense who you are. It's interesting, I lit this incense stick because there's also something I wanted to say on this video about spiritual cleansing, which, you know, it's all part of the build up to Lionsgate, and I will refer back to it at Lionsgate. But, you know, it's really important at the moment that we keep ourselves as spiritually clean as we can because of all this yucky energy, quite frankly, out there. And what Metatron's showing me is it's like a mud fight. He's showing me like people throwing mud pies at each other, but it's being done at a very big collective level. And he's showing me, like, imagine the online world as a television set, okay? So imagine everything that you're watching online, social media in particular, as a television set. It's as though there's so many of these mud pies being thrown. It literally is like we're having to do that. We're having to wipe away the screen because it's like I'm having to do that. It's like get the window cleaner and we can't even see what the truth is anymore because there's so much flack being thrown by everybody at different people. Can't see the wood for the trees, guys. So purification is really important. What do I do with regard to that? Well, yeah, I like my incense and I like my sage. I also use white light a lot. I am being drawn to use selenite a lot at the moment. When I say use selenite, I just have it around me. Okay, so I have it all around me, on my desk, beside my bed, somewhere where I can visually see it, because personally I'm quite a visual person. So if I see something, it's a reminder of what that thing stands for, and then I can take it, take the message back into my body. Because I'm a Cancerian, I love my baths, so I'm always in the bath. Himalayan bath salts, putting a crystal into the bath. It's like anything, if you bath with intention, it's not just about cleaning the body, it's not just about freshening it up, it's actually about cleansing the energy off you, removing anything toxic that you've picked up around yourself. It's about, if you're having a bad day, which we all do, and we get irritated or bad-tempered, it's about getting that out of the body, going for a walk. It's the basics. It's the basics. But we need to be doing it with intention. So in terms of, the colours, I've got two colours sitting on my desk here. They're obvious, really. White light and sage. Okay, these are the ones that I just feel drawn to use. White light and white sage. So Both have got slightly different qualities to them. The white sage is to do with cleansing, okay? Literally smudging, cleansing your aura. I will sometimes do this as well if I've had a bit of a naughty day in terms of eating too much or drunk too much, or, you know, and you come up to bed and it's like, oh God, why did I do that? You know, why couldn't I just stick to my diet or whatever? And I'll spray this around myself. Well, you know, it would be better if I hadn't eaten and drunk the things I've done, but it does help to mop up, is what Metatron's saying. He's saying it's a good mop up. He's showing me like one of those old-fashioned mops with the string, you know, and it's like being sloshed around the energy field, just trying to mop up some of the damage. But also you can use that in your space. The white light spray is more linked into, hello Bella, bringing down the white light into the body. Okay, she's probably barking because there's somebody, postman maybe, not sure what's going on with Bella. Okay, how are we doing? 51 minutes. Let's just pull a couple of cards. Can you open it, Luce? Pardon? Is Dad down there? Hold on. Sorry. I'm back. Just going to sage myself. Jeez. That is how easy it is to get out of alignment. So let's get back into alignment. And I get back into alignment because I choose to get back into alignment. Okay? Stay in the energy of irritation, or choose to align back into a high vibration, which is to do with letting stuff go, forgiveness, and concentrating on what is actually most important. Okay? So anyway, let's pull two more cards and see. Oh, I wonder, well, before I do that, I'm going to show you another crystal. So we've been concentrating a lot on selenite, which is obviously the white ray. But the other one that's come into my possession as of yesterday, but there's no such thing as coincidences, is my mum gave me this ring yesterday. It's gorgeous, isn't it? It's, I'm not wearing it because I'm still cleansing it because, you know, I love my mum, but she's got a different energy to me and it needs to be cleansed. So it's actually sitting on a copper flower of life with the intention that it, her energy leaves and it can be reprogrammed for me. It's also been out in the rain and the wind and the gales, but it's not quite ready for me to wear yet. But yeah, it's Black Onyx. But I think it's a beautiful complement to the selenite, because selenite will take you really, really high. But you also need to ground. You know, this is the thing. It's really important that when we're doing the work, as above, so below. So if you're seeking to go higher, and absolutely, if you are attempting and tuning in and choosing to align more and more and more to your own higher self and your own counsel, that is going higher. Okay? You also need to ground yourself deeper. And that might sound a bit strange because it's like, well, how can it be going higher if I'm just going into myself? That's because you're running an old program, which is that the higher truth exists outside of yourself. That it's higher for me to go and do this or listen to this person, okay? Or because they say that, and my God, they've got this following of like 300,000 people, they've got to be right. No, it doesn't work like that. They've just built up a following, okay? It's always about what is your truth. And your truth and your vibration may be of a much higher vibration than that which you're seeking outside of yourself. It's all within. It's just we want to run away from it the whole time. Because, let's be honest, sometimes it's easier. It's easier, it's quicker, but that doesn't mean it's better. Okay, that does not mean it's better. I'm going to pull that again because I wasn't fully concentrating. Let's have one card from this deck. What am I actually asking for? Let's have a message from this deck to wrap up, please. And I'm going to ask my higher self for it, please. So my higher self, I'm choosing this card for us to wrap up this session. Purify your surroundings. Okay. So it's interesting because when I was doing all this about, you know, showing you the incense and talking about the selenite, and I've been channeling my own higher self, which I know I do anyway. I know I do. But it's a nod to that. Purify your surroundings. Anything that I've missed here? I mean, look at he's standing in front of a copper bowl. I've just shown you a copper plate. So I showed you copper. I've just mentioned as above, so below. He's got the tree, as above, so below. What else is there in this card that I need to bring through? Going to Amanda to say this to you. Okay. Be at peace with how all of the different aspects and elements add up to the greater whole in your life. So this is sort of symbolic. We've got the harp here, which is an instrument which is just exquisite and high and has a particular vibration, which is all of its own and is unique. And then we've got this big resounding, I'm viewing it like a copper bowl, you know, like a crystal bowl when you put your finger around the rim and it makes the most amazing sound. Well, here I'm being shown that the copper bowl can be played, but it would have like this deep, resonant, bassy sound to it, and it would complement beautifully the harp. So it's as though you have within yourself all of the vibrations as well. You have the vibrations of copper, you have the vibrations of the harp, for example, okay? You have the vibrations of male and female. You have the vibrations of animal as well. You have the animal energy within you. You have the energy of earth, represented here by the stones, something linked into Stonehenge or something like that. That's a beautiful card. We see, purify your surroundings. $96. Raise the vibration of your immediate environment. Live in sacred space. The Danu people withdrew from the world of men to allow them to pursue their chosen path of evolution. They ascended to our realm of higher frequency, leaving the world of denser matter. The painting is about the transmutation of nuclear waste and the toxins that endanger all life. When the earth is uncontaminated and returned to its natural condition of divine order and beauty, the Tuatha De Danann will joyfully return and live once again side by side with the human race. Okay. I'm not feeling that particular message for this particular reading, but, you know, it is what it is. It's also there as another message for anybody that needed to hear that. But no, it's linked into what we've been talking about. Well, Metatron's saying, and I am saying, and again, that's not a contradiction, because what I teach is that when you attune to a being like Metatron, it's like it's a relationship, okay? Just because you're tuning into your higher self doesn't mean you can't also have a relationship with another ascended master, okay? Actually, the relationship that Metatron has with me is the relationship, he has a relationship with my higher self. That's the truth, okay? Amanda, who sort of gets rattled when the door, you know, goes and the dog barks and, you know, who's going to put the bins out tonight, you know, is he interested in that? Well, he has compassion for me, but, you know, really he's interested in my higher self. That's the relationship that we have. It's Metatron and my higher self. It's you, your higher self and Metatron. That's just the way it works. And those two fit together like two pieces of a jigsaw and then can then go and do something if they choose to. You know, I've chosen to align to Metatron in this particular lifetime as one of my main guides and also Christ. But it doesn't negate the fact that I also have my own connection with myself. Okay. So what I'm hearing is who is radioactive in your life, who is toxic in your own life. Okay. That's just a question. I can't answer that for you. Okay, let's have one more card from this deck and then we'll close up. Embrace. Yeah, this is the energy of Earth. Yeah, it's perfect. We've got the Nautilus. Okay, this is what I've been talking about the whole session. Going within. Going within. You are asked to go within. Tracing your fingers on a labyrinth such as this can actually help you to do that. As well as any crystal that you've got that also holds that frequency. Now, I've shown you this before. This is labradite. Okay, so it's all about going within. I don't know what more to say. That is the call for us to go within and to do that journey, sacred journey, to the heart of the matter, to the heart of ourselves, to align to that. That is today's message, guys. Okay, I'll be back. My next proper video on YouTube will probably be the one linked into Lionsgate. This is one of the cards that triggers me in this deck. I will just show it to you. I mean, there's nothing horrible about it. It's a great card, but it's good because it's this one. I don't like it, but it's what we need. It's exactly. I totally understand why I don't like it. It's because there's a part of me that doesn't want to go there. This is primal. This is like raw primal energy. Creativity, passion, instinct, freedom, body, wisdom, aliveness. That's sort of like, is that safe? I don't know. Is that safe? Is that safe? Is that safe? Is that safe? Needing to break through that. But not judging the journey. Not judging yourself when you come up against a bit of a block, you know, and it's like, oh, you know, again, it's back to that energy of that woman in Portland sitting there just like that. I mean, there's part of me, I was just like in awe. I was like, wow, that is a statement. She hasn't got a gun in her hand. She hasn't got a knife in her hand. She's not spouting violence and hatred from her lips. She's there in all her naked, authentic power and beauty and awesomeness, and it's like, whoa, the world stops. The world's just like, I don't know how to handle that. We need to get to that place. But there's just something there that needs to be, again, peeled back. I think it links into the Ankh, the key, unlock it. I'm now seeing this key in the womb. It literally is like unlock the sacral, unlock the sacral. It's literally like a tin opener. It's like, you know, when you undo a tin, a tin opener, and it's like it goes all the way around. And then finally the lid prizes off. That's where we're getting to. We're getting to the nitty gritty. We're getting to be able to flow into that. Whether you're male, female, it doesn't matter. It's about getting into that energy. And it's got nothing to do with aggression and the old way of ego. It's just, this is who I am. Take it or leave it. But I am here. Deal with it. So that's what it is, really. It's like, deal with it. Okay, right. Plenty of food for thought. Get your selenite out. Black onyx as well, if that resonates. White ray. Working with the Nautilus energy. Finding pathways back to yourself, your own heart, your own higher self. Saying your name, I've said this before on previous videos, is a great way to, again, just align to your essence in this lifetime. Saying your name with love. Saying your name with love, with intention. Looking at yourself in the mirror. Truly looking at yourself in the mirror. Okay. Quietening the mind. You know, it's a time to not run away from ourselves. It's a time to run back to ourselves, because running back to ourselves is actually where all of the answers are. Much love, guys. Take care. I better now go and do some packing and see what the postman bought. Okay. Bye for now. Lots of love. See ya. Bye.